Hi then. It's December 24th, and in our progress through the prophet Zechariah, we've come to chapters 6 and 7. We've said that Zechariah, whose name Zechariah in Hebrew means the Lord remembers, he's very pictorial in his prophecy. And there's nowhere is that more so than in this picture that he has now in chapter 6 of 4 chariots. And the chariots are each pulled by different coloured horses. Now we can read more than is necessary into the colours of the horses. It just means that they're various different types of horses that represent actually the 4 winds. The word in Hebrew, ruach, can mean wind or spirit, but it represents the 4 winds of the earth. And also there is something connected with the Spirit of God, because these are going out across the earth, across the planet, and they are bringing settlement, they're bringing peace, they're bringing a period of stability, and particularly the one going to the north, it says, has settled the area after a time of great turmoil. So this is the picture again of Zechariah saying that the end of the exile has come, God is going to resettle Jerusalem, and these 4 chariots are going to be going out into the earth, north, south, east and west, as the 4 winds go to settle the earth. And then there come new arrivals from Babylon, new returnees who are coming back by the name of Heldai, Tovia and Yediah. And these come back and they are asked to provide precious metals. They've obviously brought with them gifts to bring for the new temple, and they're asked to provide precious metals which will make circlets and or crowns. And the circlets, actually a number of circlets together is the way that Middle Eastern crowns are often put together, hence that term, crown him with many crowns. So these circlets are going to be on the head of the high priest. But there's an interesting connection here, because although they're going to be put on the high priest's head, Yehoshua, they actually also are connected with Zerubbabel. And Zerubbabel, who is the descendant of the last king of Judah, he is now the governor of Judah. So there's kind of an undertone here of the king being restored, but he's not able to be openly named in that way. But he's also known, and it says that as well as the priest, there's going to be this man who's going to be the branch, Semach in Hebrew, the branch. And this clearly points to Zerubbabel as being the anointed one. And when we think back to the picture of the candlesticks with the 2 olive trees beside in the previous chapter, perhaps the olive trees there represent the figure of the priest and the king together in Joshua and Zerubbabel, both feeding into this new light that's coming into Judah. So the crowns are to be put on, the priest and the king are going to work together, this branch and the high priest, and then it says distant peoples are going to come. This is going to have an effect on the whole earth, and the whole earth will witness God's restoration of Jerusalem, his restoration of the ministry in the temple, and his restoration of kingship. Then in chapter 7, more returnees come, although these aren't properly returnees. These are Jews who've been living in Babylon, and they come, their names are Betel Sereza and Regem Melech, and they come from the north to inquire of the high priest Joshua whether they should still be celebrating or keeping the fast that commemorates the destruction of Jerusalem. Now that Jerusalem's being rebuilt and the returnees have come back, is there any point still fasting to commemorate an event which is now been restored, that the temple is being restored? And Zechariah has something to say about this. He homes in on their seeming pernicketiness about religious observations, and actually says you're getting caught up in whether you should eat or not eat, you should drink or not drink. Actually, what the Lord is really looking for is something of the heart. In fact, he says you should be avoiding oppression, you should be practicing justice, you should be practicing righteousness, you should be practicing covenant grace, covenant bonded grace, hesed. And you should be doing these things, because these are the things, he says, that your forefathers didn't do, and therefore ended up being driven out of the land and the land becoming desolate. So these things are more important than fast dates. And so he has something very clear to say to these people who are coming to inquire about the fast of the fall of Jerusalem. It's great to see that God's power here is restoring his people, he's being faithful to his covenant as he brings in the king and the priest to work together in chapter 6. As we see, we're reminded that in Messiah, in Jesus, comes together both of those things, the priest and the king. He is the high priest and he is also the King of Kings. And those two things come together in Messiah Jesus, whom we celebrate, the one who is our King, our Lord, but also the one who presents us before the Lord today, who's ever living to make intercession for us, so we can crown him with many crowns. Have a very good December 24th.